A world burning in mystery, 8 beings chosen by the flames themselves, each holding the key to humanity's salvation or destruction. Today, we're going to be diving into the hidden stories, twisted powers, and fateful destinies of the 8 pillars in Fire Force. Welcome back to Anime Explained, your home for deep dives into your favorite anime and manga worlds. If you're ready to uncover the truth behind the Adola and the chosen pillars, then you are in the right place. Fair warning, major spoilers ahead for Fire Force, including content past season 2 of the anime, so if you're an anime only fan, then proceed with caution. First up, we have Shinra Kusakabe, the hero of hope and the pillar of rage. Shinra Kusakabe, the 4th pillar, is a boy who was forged in tragedy. As a child, his home, it was burnt down, supposedly killing his mother and his baby brother Sho. This got him labeled a devil because of his sinister smile under stress. Shinra grew up isolated and mocked. Yet beneath that misunderstanding, Shinra's heart, it burns with a desire to become a hero. His Adola burst, it grants him overwhelming combustion powers, allowing him to fly, blitz through space, and even accelerate to relativistic speeds, warping time itself, as we see in season 1 of the anime. Shinra's personality is driven by compassion, masked in his cocky bravado. He's reckless, but he's also pure. He's willing to stand alone against overwhelming odds if it means protecting others. His Adola, it is fueled by hope, a fire that refuses to be extinguished even by despair. In terms of his powers, they are plentiful. So with Shinra, because of the devil's footprints, he can ignite flames from his feet, flying at supersonic speeds, and because of how he's able to generate those flames when he touches the ground, that's where you get the nickname Devil's Footprints, because of the ashes that are left on the ground that are in his feet prints. Then you have Adola Grace, which basically boosts him to light speed reactions, bending even time itself briefly. He also has access to historical strength, which unlocks insane power when protecting others. He got this when he was training with Benimaru, which if you've seen season 2 of the anime, then you've seen that training. Other notable things about Shinra in terms of strength are his speed and reaction time and his raw willpower. They are absolutely insane. And because he's able to generate those jet fires from the bottoms of his feet, it greatly increases his speed and his maneuverability, as well as the power of his kicks. He can also speed himself up to light speed, at which point his body breaks down into those particles that surpass the speed of light, which allows him to go back in time before Shinra's body breaks apart, and basically it rematerializes him. As Victor Leak points out, though, this does come with some dangers to Shinra. Also, he is a member of Special Fire Force Company number 8, which is tasked with investigating the other Fire Force companies to find out if they really are looking into the truth about human combustion. Shinra is directly opposed to the Evangelist and its schemes. Since the discovery of his Adola Burst and Adola Link, Shinra, he has been targeted by many followers of the Evangelist who they attempt to recruit him either through conversion or through force, fueling his rage against the White Clad. In terms of weaknesses, he can burn through stamina quickly early on, and he mentally struggles with Adola-induced hallucinations from time to time. Shinra, for the most part, he represents hope rising from tragedy. He is a pure counter to despair. It's part of why his character is just a really good character. Now we're going to be moving on to Haumea, one of my favorite characters in the series. She is the electric prophet of madness, and she is the pillar of passivity. Haumea, the 2nd pillar, serves as the evangelist mouthpiece. She's been so touched deeply by Adola that her sanity, it fractured a long time ago. Gifted with electromagnetic powers through her Adola burst, she manipulates brain signals, controlling minds, hijacking thoughts, and even can induce riots if she wants to. She is essentially untouchable, communicating telepathically with other followers like Charon. Haumea's backstory, it hints at a childhood lost to experiments and religious fanaticism. She copes by sinking into a maniac glee, viewing life and death as just mere games. Her chaos is not random. It's a way to drown out arguably her own pain that comes from her own shattered humanity. Haumea's flame, it represents madness a degree because it's a distorted reflection of faith consumed by insanity. In terms of her powers, we'll go a little bit deeper here. So she has electro electromagnetic mind control because she can manipulate electronic signals in the brain, controlling other people's actions and feelings. As we see with Natako, when she really cuts up, she really gets loose. In terms of her power that comes with Adola Gray, she's able to amplify her electric powers to global levels. Her strength is basically unrivaled manipulation. She can literally control armies by seizing their minds. Haumea's power to go deeper than before. Because she's generating and controlling electricity, it allows her to shock her opponents and fry electrical systems and send and receive information directly from people's brains. She can even use her electric abilities to take control of another person's nervous system, their endorphins, and their neurotransmitters, allowing her to control their actions and behaviors to insane degrees. She's been allied with the Evangelist since her infancy and has repeatedly attempted to gather more users of Adola to achieve the goals that are laid out. With her mind-reading abilities, constant hearing in the dark, and selfish thoughts of humanity, it's caused her basically to go mad. In terms of weaknesses, if she is disrupted mentally, then her control can falter. This is what makes Arthur Boyle such a really good foil to her. Her dependency on Adola Grace limits her without a direct connection. Haumea is the voice of despair and madness to a degree. This is why I like to call her a false prophet. Now, with Sho Kusakabe, he is the child of the frozen time blade. He is the pillar of apathy. Sho Kusakabe, the third pillar and Shinra's brother, he was stolen by the White Clad as an infant and he was brainwashed to believe in the Evangelist's divine will. Sho's Adola burst, it allows him to slow the universe expansion by drastically lowering the thermal energy, freezing time in localized pockets, making him nearly untouchable in battle. His fighting style, it is cold, methodical, efficient, and it is devastating. Personality-wise, Sho is a tragic figure. At times, he's emotionless, and he's also militant. And buried beneath his programming is a deep suppressed love for his family. His conflict with Shinra, it gradually reignites the embers of his lost humanity, showing that in a series like this, bonds they burn brighter than any despair. Sho's flame represents loyalty, purity, nobility, but also the fact that there are people in that category that can be tragically misdirected. In terms of power, he has that time dilation that we were talking about. His Adola burst allows him to manipulate the universe expansion to seemingly freeze time around him. Swordsmanship, he's a master swordsmanship with devastating techniques. He's practically unstoppable when he's using time stop. Sho's ability, Severed Universe, allows him to reduce the heat that causes the natural expansion of the universe, thus slowing the flow of time. Only Sho himself remains at a normal speed. Because he was abducted and recruited by the Evangelist during his infancy, Sho eventually became the commander of the Knights of the Ashen Flame. While initially completely obedient and emotionally deadened, he became somewhat resistant towards the Evangelist's motives after awakening his childhood memories and confronting his brother for the second time since their 12-year separation. Because of this, he was robbed of his Severed Universe ability and subjected to Haumea's mind control ability. In terms of weaknesses, extended overuse of his ability, it overexerts him. His coldness, it emotionally isolates him, making him vulnerable to Shinra's appeals at times. Sho is the tragedy of a stolen innocence. Then we get to Inca, the pyromaniac prophetess, and she is the pillar of destruction. Inca, the fifth pillar, she thrives on unpredictability and danger. Originally, she was a petty thief. Inca used her premonition-like ability to profit off of fires before she awakened her Adola burst. Once awakened, she could trace the heat signatures and ignite precise flames along the lines that she envisions. Rather than fear her gift, Inca, she embraced it, seeking greater and greater risks, craving exhilaration and death, dancing just inches away. This is why she turned down Shinra's appeal to come with him, and instead she went with the Evangelist. Personality-wise, Inca, she is impulsive, she is reckless, she is selfish, and she won't hesitate to kill her friends, as we saw in Season 2. She rejects stability and yearning instead of chaos and freedom. Even if it means aligning with the White Clad, her flame, it embodies freedom, untamed, wild, and violently alive. In terms of powers, she has that fire precognition. She She sees the future past of the fires and can trigger spontaneous combustion by tracing the lines. Her Adola brace, it's when she embraces her combustion power to mass destructive levels. In terms of strength, she is insanely versatile. She can start fires anywhere, including inside buildings or enemies. Inca can detect invisible pathways of heat, allowing her to know how many flames are fired. Based attacks will move and spread. She can also ignite these pathways herself. After coming into contact with the Amaterasu, Inca, the infamous fire thief, was targeted both by the Knights of the Ashen Flame and the Fire Force. After awakening her ability and initially resisting, Inca makes the decision to join the White Clad, understanding that she will face more dangerous endeavors on that side opposed to going with Shinra and the Fire Force, which that's why she finds the White Clad more interesting and exciting. In terms of weaknesses, her unpredictability means that even her allies, they can't fully trust her. Inca represents pure anarchy. She's humans' reckless hunger for sensation and satisfaction personified. Now we're going to be going with Nataku, the fearful weapon and the pillar of fear. Nataku, the sixth pillar, is perhaps the most heartbreaking story we have. He is a child prodigy experimented on by Haumea Industries. Nataku, he internalized crippling pressure to succeed, fearing both failure and expectations placed upon him. His Adola burst, it grants him terrifying nuclear fission powers, capable of leveling cities, but Nataku doesn't want this power. He's terrified of it. He's hallucinating oppressive authority figures like Rekka even after his death. Personality-wise, Nataku, he is anxious, he is insecure, and he is desperate for someone to tell him that he is good enough. His flame, it represents fear on multiple levels, a weaponization of childhood trauma and societal pressure. His powers are radiation emission. His flames, they emit a lethal radiation, poisoning anything nearby. In terms of atomic fire blast, he's capable of destroying entire districts with an outburst. With raw destructive power, he is someone that few can survive when he really gets ramped up. Nataku is able to make those claws that are made from fire from his hand. He can also create multiple rings of fire with a spear in the center of each. They bear a likeness to the symbol for radiation. He can also shoot powerful compressed fire cannons from the rings and his flames that can generate radiation. After Rekka used a bug on him, Nataku gained the powers of a third generation. After being experimented on and tested in extreme conditions by the scientists at Haumea Industries, Nataku awakens his Adola burst and becomes a sixth pillar. In terms of weaknesses, he's emotionally unstable. He has fear and guilt that can trigger catastrophic meltdowns. Nataku embodies the exploitation of the innocents in the hands of those who wish to do bad, basically systems of power. Then we move on to Sumire. She is the immortal puppeteer and the pillar of disgust. Sumire, the seventh pillar, is the architect behind much of the tragedy in Fire Force, a 200-plus-year-old scientist who preserved herself through forbidden techniques. Sumire engineered the human combustion phenomenon through centuries of cruel experiments. Unlike the other pillars, Sumire doesn't fight. She manipulates events from behind the scenes. Her goal is scientific enlightenment through human evolution, regardless of the cost. To her, morality is irrelevant compared to discovery. Sumire's flame represents knowledge, endless curiosity, devoid of empathy, seeking answers even if it burns the world down to get them. In terms of powers, she has lived dozens of lives by transferring her soul into new bodies. She specializes in mental manipulation and soul research. In terms of strength, she is a mastermind intelligence, unmatched when it comes to the knowledge of Adola. Sumire utilizes the heat created by the natural human reflexes of shivering. She amplifies this heat and transforms it into kinetic energy, which she then uses to create powerful vibrations. She can even use this ability to cause earthquakes. 250 years ago, Sumire was disillusioned with humanity and was convinced by the Evangelists to help burn the world clean. In terms of weakness, she is physically frail. She's not a direct fighter and she relies on manipulation. Sumire is the embodiment of blind faith and religious corruption. Next up, we have Sister Iris, the forgotten flame, the pillar of despair. The eighth and final pillar is Sister Iris. Obviously, that's the big spoiler from the beginning of the video that we talked about. This gentle nun who prays for the dead and soothes the hearts of her comrades. is someone who, hidden beneath her serene demeanor, lies a devastating truth. Iris is a doppelganger, one of the survivors of the Holy Soul Temple's secret experiments designed to create a vessel for Adola's power. Deep inside her, she carries a connection to Adola, the same essence that powers Amaterasu itself. Personality-wise, Iris is kind and devout and innocent, but as the story progresses, cracks begin to show. She struggles with her faith, as we saw in Season 2, questioning whether her prayers have meaning in a world shaped by lies and manipulation. Iris's Adola burst, it manifests not through violence, but through spiritual resonance, a power that could sway the fate of the world. Her flame, it represents purity, the quiet, unyielding light born from love and faith and sacrifice. According to Haumea, at the time that Sho Kusakabe defeated Leonard Burns, Iris became the 8th pillar, during which she used the Adola Grace to shield the Special Fire Force Company 8 from Dragon's ignition ability. In terms of weaknesses, physically, she is weak compared to other combatants. Iris represents the genuine faith and light that stands against the false gods. Now, finally, we have Amaterasu. She is the forgotten goddess and the pillar of madness. The first pillar that we have is Amaterasu. Yes, the perpetual energy generator that powers the Tokyo Empire contains a Adola burst at its core, as you learn in Season 2. It was created using a human being, a girl named Hito Hashirami, who sacrificed herself for humanity's future. The true horror is that this eternal flame was forced upon her. She represents the world in terms of the flame of sacrifice, pure and radiant and unwilling immortality, a forgotten soul fueling the world's survivor. In terms of powers, her Adola Grace generates endless self-sustaining energy. She is the power plant core. Her energy output powers the world's largest city. In terms of strength, she has unmatched energy generation. In terms of weakness, it's basically total captivity. She has no agency left, existing purely as fuel. Amaterasu symbolizes exploitation, humanity's willingness to sacrifice the innocent in order to survive. The 8 pillars are more than just powerful pyromancers. They are reflections of humanity's hopes, fears, and sins. From Shinra's blazing hope to Amaterasu's silent sacrifice, every pillar tells a piece of the Fire Force's world story in a larger capacity. If you enjoyed this video, obviously consider subscribing and ignite that notification bell for more epic anime breakdowns here on Anime Explained. In the meantime, click here to check out more videos from Anime Explained, or click here up top to watch videos from my One Piece channel and keep your flames burning bright.